I'm right here. What are you talking about?
I don't see you.
Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour. Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour.
Don't waste my motherfucking time!
Well, for some of you, this is going to be good news, and for some of you, it's going to be bad news. But apparently, we've decided to start the show, and Victor is nowhere to be seen. Luckily, we have a crowd favorite in the room. You were right. If you have guessed, Absolutely Victor is here in studio with us. Are you Victor?
I am absolutely Victor.
That's what I thought. So excellent. I'm so glad that you could join us, Absolutely Victor, despite the fact that Victor decided not to show up. So I hope that you are prepared, because for the next hour, we are going to have a rip-roaring time. No, I'm just kidding. It's going to be a complete waste of time. It will be replaced with two ignorant, uninformed, ill-advised, self-deprecating morons ranting about opinions they have no right to have, which are probably wrong and absolutely do not matter. For the record, you're one of those morons this time, just so you know.
I refuse.
That's fair. Okay. Also, our goal is to convince you that where we hail from, just outside Washington, D.C., is not a city of just politics and scandals, but one brimming with art, music, and culture, as impossible as that may seem. So, listeners, now that you know why you're here, I'm Keith, and across from me is my co-host, Absolutely Victor. Absolutely Victor, why are you here this week?
I have absolutely no fucking idea.
You absolutely do not know why you're here this week.
No. There's like a Victor's missing bat signal kind of thing that happens.
Yeah.
And then I just like show up.
He's completely unreliable is the issue. That's the problem with unabsolutely Victor. It's probably that he's been drinking Absolute and now he's not available for the show. But that's all right. We're going to make on without him, and we have a really great guest in store.
This is your conscience
I'm looking forward
speaking.
to being able to talk to them.
Can you
You're
hear
probably
me?
wondering why I'm here this week, and I'm glad you asked me, Absolutely Victor.
I don't care.
You don't. You were very apathetic. Florida. I'm here because Florida is like the country's little brother, right? Because Texas was like, hey, I'm going to have a hurricane and I'm going to have like 60 inches of rain. And then Florida was like, well, I'm going to have a storm too. I want a storm. I'm make a storm. I'm a storm on Florida that's the size of Florida. Like that's, and you're like, that's not even a thing. No, I'm going to make one. It's going to be so big. It's going to be me sized.
And the crocodiles are all going to get out.
Yeah.
Not crocodiles. They have alligators, don't they?
I think so. Yeah. And so yeah, they had an incredibly large hurricane. I think it ended up being not quite as powerful as people were worried about. It blew over, what was the name of the island?
Barbuda.
Which is basically Barbados, but for people who actually know that that's a different island.
Yeah, that's
and
totally fucking different piece of land.
It's a different piece of land. But every time I watched the news, I was like, you mean Barbados, right? You just said that wrong, right?
Not even close.
No? Oh, okay.
No.
It just scoured that off the face of the earth.
Yeah, it's done.
It destroyed it like 60% of the entire, like, with all the buildings were just leveled.
It's like 90% of the buildings are
90.
damaged and 60% of them are completely unlivable, leaving 60% of the population homeless.
Right.
But it's only 1,600 people, so like, who cares?
So they all know each other. They can just stay at the other houses.
Sleepover!
And then I think Jose is coming through and just destroying them a second time. So you don't.
Jose did like a loop-de-loop in the middle of the ocean and then fizzled out because it's a loser.
But the thing that was amazing about the hurricane is that it came down the coast of Cuba and it was like threatening to come up towards the United States. And while the eye of the storm was still like off of Cuba, the top of the storm was like in Fort Lauderdale. Like I haven't even taken a boat ride like that long. And that was the size of half of the hurricane. So luckily it calmed down. It was a category 5. I think it had hit like a category 3 or 4, somewhere in there, like a low
4-ish.
Yeah. So did damage. Obviously, people, our prayers go out to you because those don't cost anything. And we don't want to give you money, but we do hope that your houses are okay and everything like that. So with that said, in addition to a hurricane, something else that might really fuck up your household is our guest this evening. We have from a local popular podcast, a co-host of that podcast, Victor. Victor, why are you here this week?
Actually, Keith, I feel like it's kind of in poor taste to promote my podcast on your podcast.
I understand that. Okay, that's fair.
So I don't want to really steal anybody's thunder. But,
I appreciate that. Could you tell us a little bit about it? Like, I don't necessarily give away the name, but how would you describe it for people that maybe wanted to look up your podcast in the future and listen to it?
Well, you can find it on my Facebook. So if you just look through there, we'll just do that
on your Facebook page.
On the unofficial sense.
Sure,
Victor Danger Mendez. You can find my podcast.
Also on your MySpace page.
It is. It's one of my top friends.
Okay, good.
Can I see it on your Tinder profile?
Yeah.
Well, too many people were super liking me, so I had to delete that.
Can I listen to your podcast by swiping left?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You might even get a rhino on there.
So we can go to your Facebook page, your personal Facebook page, and you post shows up there. Where else could we hear your podcast?
To be honest, I don't think you really. Don't worry about it. It's I'm trying to promote a little culture in the DC, like the DMV area.
Okay.
But to be honest, it's a complete waste of time. The whole podcast is a waste of time.
Oh, well, that's a shame.
Like at the end, you feel like you wasted an hour.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's interesting. We have very things in common then, it sounds like, which is why we brought you on as a guest is we figured might have some overlap on the fans that we have for each of our shows.
Hey, cool.
So hopefully
we'll promote each other.
Yeah.
I get bigger, you get bigger.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll put the link to Victor's show up on our Facebook page so that you can take a listen to one of his episodes. And so, yeah, thank you for joining us, Victor. And is there anything else that you'd like to promote or talk about, or anything else that you're doing with charities or anything?
I am contributing to the human race.
You're contributing to the human race?
Yep.
Okay. How much did you contribute?
Precisely one person.
One person to the. Oh, okay. So that means that you.
I'm making a human.
Oh, okay. So you're a geneticist. You know how to clone human beings.
Yes, absolutely.
Sort of.
Are you sure it isn't a sea monkey?
That's
no,
valid.
I'm not sure at all. But last time we checked, it was healthy. So it's a really good, healthy sea monkey.
Could it be a litter? Is it possible that it's a litter?
Ooh.
You know what I don't get is humans are born with an umbilical cord.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for jump rope.
What else do you do with it, right?
Right. You have to work
Certainly
out in the womb.
Can't save it for stem cells. But
She want it.
No.
like puppies, kittens, other mammals.
Yeah.
How does that work? How do you give birth to 14 puppies and none of them have umbilical cords? How does it even function? I don't understand how the world works anymore.
No. It comes out like a ball of yarn. It's just all the umbilical cords.
You know, like
you
that.
just have to like unravel it to get to the puppies?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like anytime you plug things in behind your bed into that one outlet and you have like 15 cables back there, that's what the inside of a laboring puppy mother looks like.
That's how I imagine it. It's like it's a surge protector plugged into a surge protector, plugged into a surge protector.
You're daisy chaining puppies.
Yeah, that's how they come out. They come out like a string of Christmas lights. That's
Here's the problem though. If the fourth one's broken, they're all dead.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's true. You
That
can't
got
replace
dark.
the middle one. You just throw out the
got
whole
dark real
chain. You got to start over. Yeah. Fact.
You can't just like buy a new one at Home Depot and replace it?
No. That's yeah. I talked to a veterinarian once, and they told me the same thing. I mean, not about that.
I mean, I can't argue. It does make sense.
Right. I mean, it was about the Christmas lights, but I'm sure it still applies. So,
Oh my gosh.
anyhow, so you'll be with us the entire show. You have nowhere to go, I assume.
Unfortunately.
You don't have to like run off and do your podcast.
Nope.
Okay, excellent.
Not at all. I'm actually at home right now, chilling.
Excellent. Well, then, in that case, what we'll do is move forward with what we like to call the weather report.
Wait, before we do that,
Yeah.
seeing as how this is a first time kind of amazing occasion,
Yeah.
I'm just going to go ahead and take this shot that I poured for
Oh my
myself.
goodness, you are drinking on the show.
I am absolutely prepared.
Oh yeah, we've never had that happen.
That must be the kind of thing that Victor does on his podcast.
Yeah, his podcast probably not as professional as our podcast, where we try to stay level-headed and
Professional?
Yeah.
I put a gummy bear in the shot glass, okay?
Oh, you are a professional.
Yeah, it's one of those vitamin gummy bears, too. It's
It
healthy.
has vitamins in it.
Yeah, this is the healthiest tequila I've ever had.
Oh, well, that's that. Yeah, you're basically contributing to humankind at this point.
Yep.
So, absolutely, Victor, would you like to tell our guest what the weather report is?
It's like this thing where we talk about stupid fucking news.
Yeah.
And then some stranger says like, yeah, that's totally news.
Yeah, nailed it. Okay, so essentially that's basically it. We're going to tell you things that we found from around the internet. You're going to let us know if they are news or not, using whatever criteria you'd like. So let's get started.
Hey, Keith.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely Victor.
Yeah.
I just so you know.
Yeah. Oh, no, I believe you. You're absolutely Victor. So we have, let's see, who is starting here? We've got,
I got one.
wait, no.
Can I throw
no,
one your
sorry,
way?
you don't do the news. We do the news,
Aw.
and then you comment on the, I mean, I guess it's up to you,
Fine.
absolutely, Victor. Would you rather do the judging or would you rather read the news?
I'm really quite judgmental.
She does sound very judgmental.
I don't know if that I don't know if that qualifies as the best criteria here to
Yeah.
be the judge.
All right, well, lay it on us, our guest who's not related to the podcast, Victor.
All right.
What
I'll
do you
my
have?
best.
You're well prepared. Obviously, you must have heard the show before and come
I've
prepared.
listened to a few episodes. I'm prepared. Don't
okay,
worry.
well, that's great. All right.
Actually, to be honest, I've been following you guys since December.
So, like at the beginning,
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you. Thank you for being an avid listener. Have you heard every episode?
I don't think so. Only a few, but throughout,
Oh.
I've heard like a handful, like it does, like maybe like 40.
Well, I like to imagine that our biggest fans are just right here in the room with us. So,
I mean, I'm not that big. I've been losing a little weight.
that's true. All right. So, how about you kick it off then?
Well, this week I was super excited when Ted Cruz liked a porn tweet.
Wait, what?
And Ted Cruz is very anti-gay. He's very adamant about, I'm very religious and it is a sin and blah, blah, blah. And the porno that he liked on Twitter was a lesbian porno.
I mean, I don't blame him. I mean, right? We should like lesbian. Everyone loves lesbian porn. Who
Nobody
doesn't
gets
like
pregnant in
lesbian,
lesbian
porn?
porn.
You can't trust them.
Nope.
If it's
They're
gay guy
lying.
porn, then there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I don't know about that. But lesbian porn, for some reason, we're like, gay's awesome.
Well, the fun part is Ted Cruz denied it. He said Senator Ted Cruz blamed it on a staffer's honest mistake, and I laughed at staff.
He has a
no staff there, buddy. You already revealed your true intentions.
So did he have to fire that person? Does he?
It doesn't say any course of action that they're taking yet, but he said honest mistake. He explained, declined to identify the staff member or say if the person would be punished. But you
if
can't
he-
take that shit back.
If he fired them, he could retweet the lesbians and say, I just want to let you know that I now have a position available on my staff.
Oh no.
I like, reverse euphemisms? Be
Yeah.
like, there's a spot on my penis for you. Did you mean there's a position on your staff? Like, yeah, that.
Yeah, that thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we should totally have sex. Did you mean bang? Okay, you know what? That's not even a euphemism anymore.
Well, they're 8 under for that.
Yes.
So it's historically hilarious, but is it news? Absolutely, Victor.
Here's the thing.
Oh, great.
Oh.
Twitter isn't fucking new. Everybody should know that things you like on Twitter,
Yeah.
everyone can see. Right? Like even Ted Cruz, who's kind of an idiot, should probably know about that particular feature.
You can
I mean, he
block
said it was
people.
an honest mistake.
Yeah,
I don't know how you
There's nothing
make
honest
that
about Ted
honest
Cruz.
mistake, but
a dishonest mistake. I
Ted
did
Cruz's
it.
staff.
I did it, but I didn't mean to.
Here's what's news about this news story. What's news is that anyone would fucking believe this thing about how it was somebody else and he didn't mean to, and it was an honest mistake.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we all love that Shaggy song. It wasn't me. Wasn't me.
I like that they have so many staff people just on their Twitter that they don't even know who the person was.
Like you hired someone on your staff to be one of your social media experts, and that person doesn't know that you shouldn't like shit on Twitter.
Right. You should definitely, and it's like, oh, well, notice that the thing says, well, one of my staff did
Why
that.
were you logged into my Twitter?
Right. You want to be like Steve, it should be a guy who's doing your Twitter, right? All right.
Could be a woman. Might be a lesbian. That's why she's looking up lesbian
Did
porn.
it say what the tweet was? Was it like, hey, we fucking love Ted Cruz? And he was like, I like that.
It wasn't. No, I didn't. It didn't. Definitely did not provide a link to that. Actually,
that would be awesome. Because it's
let's
totally
not provide any more information than oops.
This is a different story if it's like, hey, I really like Ted Cruz and the stuff he's doing, and he's like that. Oh, it's lesbians. Where if it's like, I love eating pussy, and he's like, yeah, me too.
Why would you eat cats? That's stupid. They're hairy, they're gamey, there's not that much meat on them.
That's a horrible vision, by the way. Just Ted Cruz eating pussy is not a thing I'd ever want to think about.
But I think officially we declared that news.
It is news that anyone would fucking believe that story.
All right, fine. All right, moving along. Edmonton man threatened with defamation lawsuit after negative Google review. That's right. If you think that you can get in trouble for liking lesbians, you can also get in trouble for having a bad Google review. Apparently, some companies are so committed to the idea that the customer isn't right that they're willing to sue to prove it. A tech company in Edmonton got a negative Google review and responded by threatening a $150,000 defamation suit. The low ratings...
Sweet Jesus.
Yeah. The low rating stated that the company promised to call a customer a certain amount of time, in a certain amount of time, and they did not. The company says nothing other than that they are serious about the lawsuit.
If only they were Comcast.
It's weird that they didn't say, we didn't do that. Like they didn't.
Yeah.
Wasn't me.
Yeah. There was no no, we totally called that person and we're going to sue them. It was just, we're really serious about it. Did you call them? No, but fuck that guy.
Yeah.
We sent them a really angry email.
This is the way that big companies work, right? Because they go like, we're going to throw lawyers at you until you give in, even if you happen to be right. So it is unfortunate. It is a way of life, but is it news?
So here's my thinking on this. It's Edmonton, right? Which is Canada, where people are supposed to be fucking polite.
That's true.
So it's a little tacky to leave a Google review if it's not true, a negative one.
Right.
But the company didn't
haven't you ever heard of
say...
Yelp?
Yeah. The company didn't say that guy's an effing liar, right? So
Yeah.
we're assuming the reviewer is not lying. So then they're just tacky for threatening to sue him. So I think it's news that there's tacky Canadians.
I think it's really...
What?
I think it's news that neither the review or the press release by the company had the word sorry in it. Like neither of them.
It said Suri.
Yeah.
SOORRY.
Yeah,
Suri.
exactly. So you're saying we are news.
Oh, it's totally news.
all
But do you
right.
know this sort of thing has happened before?
Has it?
Yeah, like there was some psychiatrist or therapist or somebody got a Google review that was just a 1-star thing. It didn't say like this person's a lying bee or
Right.
anything. Just
This
1
guy
star.
has hepatitis.
So the therapist sued the person.
Nice.
Yeah.
You didn't have the right cookies in the waiting room.
I'm gonna do that when my like quarterly review comes around. I'm gonna be like, I don't know. You could probably improve on some things and maybe spend less time making podcasts. And I'll be like, I'm suing you.
You've been served.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
I got one here. So on my podcast, one of my reoccurring themes is how technology will one day take over the planet.
Well, yeah,
Like
that's
the whole
probably true.
Skynet thing.
Yeah.
So little by little, humans are being phased out. Swiss robot conducts orchestra in Italy. And I'm thinking music is a really emotional experience as well as a technical. So you need to be very technically trained. You need to be very practiced, whatever.
Sure.
But there's like certain feelings that you can run with if you're a conductor. You can be like, this part, I don't know why, it just needs to slow down just a little. Let's get this section louder,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. They took the human out of it. And now it's just some machine with two flailing. It's a little box with flailing arms.
Yeah.
And like an orchestra of about 80 people just staring at it. And I'm like,
I believe that's not a robot. That's called a metronome. That's what that is.
no, it's holding one of those little wands.
So it's still a metronome.
It counts as a.
What's the difference between a metronome and a robot that keeps time?
A robot, it's powered.
It's a poor
and
metronome,
programmed.
is what it is. But you're saying is a metronome that sometimes goes faster or slower, which means it's just a shitty metronome. I can get a shitty metronome and put it in front of an orchestra and stick a stick on its arm, and I'm good to go.
You know what? You're a shitty metronome, Keith.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
I said it.
That's not really news. We all know I'm a shitty metronome. But now that we know that it's not news, absolutely, Victor, is it news?
Okay, here's why this is not news. I think all this has done is proved that conductors aren't really fucking doing anything, and no one in the orchestra is actually paying attention to them. That's all that happened.
They're just waving a wand around, and people are like, he thinks he's a fucking magician.
It does seem like they paid more attention because it's like, what the fuck is that thing?
I don't know how they read the music and like watch the guy with the baton.
They
Like,
fucking don't. All the flautists are like, check a load of this guy. His stick's not even that fucking big. Like,
yeah? Oh,
Yeah.
that seems like a lot coming from a flautist.
just saying.
His stick
Insert
isn't that
joke
big.
about Ted Cruz's staff.
Right. And the tuba player's like, excuse me?
Check out my mouthpiece.
Yeah. I think it's just it's such an interesting thing because it, like, of all of the people in the orchestra, the conductor looks like they're doing the most, but they're probably not. Right? Like, because everyone else is like, they're doing little like finger movements and stuff like that. And he's up there like, everybody gets a taco. And like, and you're like, oh, that's really important that they're in there. No, but I don't know that he's like, I'm pointing at that guy. We all know he has to go. The music says it. Like,
I love Oprah. You get a taco. You get a taco. You get a taco.
Right.
That's not your cue. You start eating now.
right. Like they're always standing up there just like, my hair isn't messy enough. And now it's solved. And like,
The conductor is the only person who gets fucking sweaty.
yeah, like you never
And-
see like a sweaty like Tiffany player.
No.
No.
If the conductor were really doing anything that crucial, why would they have to have practices? Right? Like if it's all hinging on the conductor, you just fucking show up with your trombone
Right.
and you good. He'll just tell you what to
Have
do.
You got the notes.
Ever seen any sort of musician, classical musician, interact with any other musician, like of a different instrument?
Oh,
It's
no.
a disaster. You get a trumpet player talking to a trombone player, and they just whip out their dicks and start measuring. It's ridiculous.
You
And
probably
of course, the only thing you'd ever hear is piccolo and bass drum. They're the loudest people.
right. You would probably need in a conversation to have a conductor, right? So then
Right.
they're like, oh, you play trumpet? Well, I play trombone. Trombone, they go, guys. You first. Okay. And now you. All right. And a rebuttal. And
I need a little louder from you.
yeah.
All right, you bring
Little
yours
passion.
down. Up.
Some passion. Okay. That was a good point. Calm.
I'm pretty sure
all right.
that every
Well, fine, Keith.
instrumentalist, though, thinks that they're the only person playing at the symphony, including the fucking conductor. So
That's probably true.
I'm the only one here. Well, fine, Keith. If that's not news, hit us with some real news.
Oh, well, you're
jerk.
in luck. I'm going to keep this one nice and short for you because I don't need to complicate this with much more than the headline. You heard about Hurricane Irma. We talked about it earlier. It hit Florida. Florida police urge residents not to fire their guns at vicious storm.
Why?
Because you shouldn't shoot a storm.
Why?
Because it doesn't do anything.
What do you mean it doesn't do anything? You get a home invader, you shoot him. Florida's their home.
Right. No,
It's invading.
I understand that there's people in Florida who stepped outside and said, I'm going to get it right in the eye. But they didn't understand the, entire biology of the storm, which is it has no biology.
I don't think. Yeah, I was going to say I don't know if you know how to spell biology, but it's definitely not spelled hurricane.
Yeah.
let me add a little moron science
Sure.
to this story for you.
Yay!
Have you ever seen the movie Sharknado?
Yes,
I have not, actually.
Oh, good. This,
I've
this
seen
will be
all
good.
three of them.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ, there's 3 of them?
It only gets better.
No. So in Sharknado, the sharks get swept up in some kind of windy storm thing.
Yeah.
And eventually What happens, Victor? Do they stay in the storm thing or do they come out of the storm thing?
I think
All
it
of
has,
the above.
I think it's something to do with like The Rock or Vin Diesel, isn't it? That's all I know.
Or something. So
Neither.
here's the
No,
thing.
It's an asylum film, which means you've
whatever.
never heard of anyone in it.
It's probably well, I've never heard of The Rock, so
When you shoot a projectile into a motherfucking hurricane,
Yeah.
what happens is it whips that projectile around a bit and then spits it out
Mhm.
at humans. So really what the state of Florida is doing is really, really shooting
Preventing
their neighbors.
evolution.
Yeah.
No. Shooting their neighbors in an incredibly delayed fashion.
So you contradicted yourself because you said it whips around the storm and then gets shot at other human beings, and then you said in Florida, which I don't know if they count.
That's a good point. I mean, Florida
where-
man
that
is
is-
still a man.
Yeah, barely.
No, that's where America goes to die.
That's true.
Florida man shoots Florida man in delayed fashion by way of a hurricane. But the state of Florida also had to be told that it's not terribly worthwhile to all set your fans up facing the ocean to blow away the hurricane. So,
Well, that seems
These
more
are
reasonable.
great ideas.
Yeah,
I don't
these-
understand why they recommend against these.
Jesus
Should you
Christ.
fire into the wind or with the wind? That's the question.
No.
I don't know. If you fire with the wind, you can really get that bullet going, right? That's what I'm saying.
All you're doing is wasting bullets when there's potentially like fucking looters coming.
I would say, I don't know if you know this, but they did a study, and in hurricanes, the winds go so fast that bullets will actually go through trees.
I don't care.
You know, bullets do that anyway.
Yeah, but also in hurricanes, they also do it in hurricanes. There's no difference, is what I'm saying, between a hurricane and a normal day.
I seriously think Darwinism is trying to do its work here.
That's true. So we
Rules are
found
preventing evolution.
we've found a way to make Social Security a little bit cheaper. But is it news?
Yeah, it's news that people are that fucking stupid.
Is it? Is it?
It is a little
All
bit.
right.
Every time I
really
think I've
don't think it's
discovered the
news.
depths of human stupidity, I'm wrong.
I will take that. All right, Victor.
I will redeem humanity. Are you ready?
No,
So ready.
no chance.
Iowa bride replaced wedding bouquets with puppies.
I'm in.
What?
Every single one of her bridesmaids got a puppy
It wasn't alive.
instead of some I know about Engineer Adam. All right. Let's not get into that.
Just a
No.
bouquet of dead puppies. Here you go, ladies. Oh,
And to top it off, they were all rescues.
Oh.
right from drowning. They'd all drowned, and they rescued the bodies.
You know, like,
Keith's
what
getting
kind of
dark
puppies, right? Like, okay, I'm, walking down the aisle. I'm holding a little chihuahua. I'm walking
Yeah.
down the aisle. I got a baby Cocker Spaniel. I'm the douchebag who has to walk down the aisle with a Great Dane puppy.
Right, exactly. You
Well,
have
they're
to-
all the same
like
size. They're like 3 weeks old. So
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You have to wear it like a backpack.
How many of them peed on the bridesmaids' dresses?
only all of them.
Only all of them. 2 of them were hit by bullets out of a hurricane. It was a very sad wedding.
What the fuck were the groomsmen holding?
Fuck the groomsmen. I'm just saying, this sets a precedent. Fuck
Tigers.
flowers. Bring puppies.
Tigers. They should have tigers.
Ooh.
That was-
You gotta one up it, right?
right,
Kitties.
exactly. Right?
This wedding had lions.
We
Well,
got-
we have tigers. Well, we have bears. Oh my.
We got a hippo. All right. So it is probably not something you're going to be able to wear out to another activity, but is it news?
Yeah, why not? It's like the one surefire way to make sure not all the fucking wedding pictures are of the bride.
Yes. Win.
That is true. Just the bride being mauled by puppies.
Yeah.
So
For all you listeners out there, now you know
yeah.
your next wedding goal should be puppies.
How big do you think the eye roll was that happened after that guy heard that idea? Like his
All of
wife
it.
was like,
All
wait,
of the big.
hear me. Instead of flowers, I'm going to fucking put puppies everywhere. And he was like, oh, gee.
There's-
that's a great idea.
There's
That's-
literally no fucking way that she ran that by him before the wedding.
You think he showed up and was
Probably
like,
not.
what the fuck are they doing with a dozen puppies? And like, they're ours.
I mean, it happened to you with your ex-girlfriend,
Well,
so
that does happen. All right.
Oh, we're gonna have to talk about that later.
Maybe. All right. Last but not least, I have to pull this up. Let's see. Where are we? Which one is it? Oh, yes. This is good. Again, I don't know that we need a lot of thought put into this. I'll just jump straight to the headline. Pool filled with sharks found in basement of New York State home.
Is that the beginning of the Sharknado movie? I'm pretty sure that's how it starts.
I have a feeling. Yeah. So just in case you've ever thought about having an above ground pool filled with living and dead sharks in your basement, don't, because they aren't good to have in your basement. I don't even know how you get them there. Like, because if you have a goldfish, you put it in a little bag, right? And then you bring it to your aquarium. But like, how do you even get like a shark into the house? You're like, oh, don't mind me. This is just a bathtub. Like,
Best
Ziploc
carnival
has made
game.
remarkable strides.
yeah. It's like you get the frog in the lily pad and then they give you a shark and you have to take it home. Did it start where he had just like little bowls of sharks and then he was like, I'm going to need a bigger aquarium. And then he was like, I'm going to need a bigger aquarium. And then he was like, I'm just getting a pool.
Maybe he got him at the wedding.
That's true.
Ooh.
That was what the grooms had. They were all carrying sharks.
Baby sharks.
And so, yeah, I think the horrifying thing is this is the problem. This is why you don't have a pool filled with sharks, is because it was filled with living sharks and dead sharks, because there's sharks in the water.
And then a
they
hurricane comes and floods your town, and not only are there gators everywhere, but there are sharks everywhere.
Yeah.
That's Sharknado 4 right there.
I know.
Man.
Not to mention that had to be a saltwater pool, I would think, right?
Well, only if you had the foresight as a fucking shark smuggler to have the same breed of shark.
Right. That's true.
I'm guessing some of those dead sharks were different breeds of sharks, and that's why they didn't fare so well.
Yeah.
Do you think
Did
like
they say the sharks were alive?
Some are alive,
alive.
some are dead. It's a mixed bag.
So-
Some of them are sharks, some of them are shark food.
I know people who have had like snakes
everything.
in the past, and then like they knew people were like, I can't take care of the snake anymore. Will
Yeah.
you please take it? Do you think that's what happened? Someone was like,
How many people did that guy know?
Jim has this shark pool in his basement, and we don't want this hammerhead anymore. So do
Right.
you think maybe Jim will take it? Like we'll just transport it to his house in this bucket.
Right.
And
Yeah, man.
The
I
kids
got
have,
it.
the kids have gotten too big to ride the hammerhead, so we might as well give it over to Jim.
The hammerhead has gotten it way too big to put the kids in the same pool with, so that's probably what
Well,
happened.
no, not if you put a saddle on it.
I want to know who dimed out Jim and his pool full of sharks.
Yeah, what happened to the point where they were like, we need to check your basement. We hear there are sharks down there.
His mom, you need to go out and meet girls. Enough
Right.
with these sharks.
All right, so it
It's
might
a shark pool, but is it news?
Yeah, that's true.
It's news because I know what I'm going to do with the bathtub in my basement now.
You're filled with sharks
Fucking A, right.
or puppies, one of the
right.
two.
Or both.
Well, if you fill them with both, it won't be filled with both for long.
It'll be full.
Yeah, it'll still be full of them. All right, so that wraps it up. It looks like this week I won the weather report, but you know what? I give you real credit, Victor, since this is the first time you've ever done the weather report. You came in a strong second. So congratulations.
Only one person in this whole race beat me.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
You are the first loser.
You're the silver medalist
Yeah.
of a two-person
If you're not first, you're last.
if it's two people in the race, yes. And so
That's math.
let's take a few minutes to learn a bit more about you. You didn't bring any music for us to play, so usually what I'll say is, take a little listen to the music, and if you want to fast forward to the 1 hour mark, you can hear the rest of it. But I do hear that you did bring a clip from your podcast that we can play here live in the studio. So do you want to set this up at all as to what's going on in this clip?
Like I said, the whole podcast is a complete waste of time.
Yeah.
So, I hope you enjoy it, but there's really not much to be said about it. You want to just roll it?
Yeah. Okay. So this is a little clip from Victor's podcast that is up and coming. Not quite as popular as ours, but still.
It's getting there. All right.
Yeah.
It'll grow.
Stick around and take a listen. So here we go. Hey guys. So welcome back from that break. We're real glad to have everybody here. So Victor. So tell me a little bit about this crazy weekend you've been telling me about.
I didn't really do anything, so don't worry about it. I'm just gonna, I got a little gas, so I think I'm gonna call it a night.
You got gas!
This is a stupid podcast. Why are we listening to it?
So you didn't tell us that this was a clip just about you two talking about gas. That's, I don't know. That doesn't seem appropriate for this podcast. We try to
Don't
steer...
get me started on my co-host, all right? I work with what I got.
Yeah, it sounds like you probably could, upgrade in some way if you get a chance to. You may want to consider working with someone else. So, but that's
I'm
interesting.
available. I'm available.
Just so you know, Absolutely Victor would be happy to join you on your podcast.
Yeah, but Absolutely Victor is just angry all the time.
That's true.
I don't know if I could handle that.
Go fuck yourself, Victor.
It's fair. She's not wrong. I'll be honest. Yeah, so, well, you know what? Let's just move on to this week in history then.
Yeah.
As you know from listening to the podcast before, Victor, and doing your own podcast, this is where we have gone through history and found all of the interesting things that have occurred through history. And we're going to tell you these things, and then you can let us know which you feel is the most historically important. So yeah, we'll get started with that, unless of course you'd rather have Absolutely Victor and her surly attitude do the judging for you. It's up to you.
I don't know.
Either way.
She'll be real mad, but I'll take daring risks for 500, Alex.
Okay, so does that mean
I've got some historical facts that
you do?
your ways.
Okay, you I didn't know you were such a history nut. I didn't realize
I love
that.
history. I mean, I didn't prepare for this at all, but let's see. In 1959, the Soviets probed stuff.
What? Oh, okay. This is just the top of your head. Okay. What
That's the
what
whole
did they
story.
probe?
That's all I got. No, in 1959, was the Red Scare was starting to really take off, and our Cold War with Russia was getting more and more intense, especially with the space race.
Yes.
So they put the first satellite in orbit, Sputnik, and we panicked thinking that it did anything more than like go beep, beep, beep. We still hear the beep. Yeah, we're ahead in the space race.
Right.
So
Is
when
the microwave done or not? That's what it sounds like. Oh, yeah.
There it goes. There it goes.
Yeah.
It was just defrosting earlier.
Popcorn.
Yeah, the United States was all worried, like, oh my God, they're going to be launching missiles at us from space. And Sputnik was just like, it was like a glorified radio.
It was it was basically the first version of the orchestra metronome.
There you go. Tick tock, tick tock.
Yeah.
Oh God, we're all gonna die.
Yeah.
But no, the United States launched a satellite, and the Soviets were like, we're still ahead in this race. So they pretty much just started launching missiles at the moon until they hit it. And yes, congratulations, they hit it first. But the president was like, well, they tried like 4 times before it worked. Why don't we just put a man up there? Okay. And that's how.
Why would you do that? If somebody's shooting missiles at a place, you shouldn't put a man on that place.
Yeah,
They were missiles filled with Soviet flags.
I'm just saying, you probably want to be like, you should avoid the place where they're shooting missiles. Maybe we'll go to Mars.
Well, interesting to note that when the Soviets finally did get their probe to hit the moon and, the little Soviet flag pops out, the United States were like, well, that doesn't mean it's yours. You have no legitimate claim to the moon. As if that fucking matters.
Right.
Like the moon is yours now.
Right. Like
none of us are allowed to look at it anymore. I mean, what does it matter?
Like you could defend it. You can't even get a person up there.
Right.
This is mine now. No! We had a flag and everything. This is no.
Sounds like the French.
You get off of the moon. Get off of the moon. That's our moon.
Basically, the entire space race was 2 toddlers licking a thing to try to claim it.
Right.
Yeah.
We put a bigger flag up there. Oh, yeah? Well, we put Buzz Aldrin up there.
I rubbed my balls on it.
Mm-hmm. We have
I played
footprints.
golf on it.
Right. I like that it started getting more and more weird, right? Because it started off like we're gonna put a flag and we're gonna put our footprint up there and we're gonna do this, and somebody else was like, I'm gonna hit a golf ball,
stupid.
and it was like, what? Why? Well, throw a frisbee. Like it was somebody threw a javelin up there, and somebody, and you're like, I
That's
don't.
for science.
Yeah,
They threw it in the Javelin crater, which I think is a remarkable coincidence.
it is. Well, no wonder they brought it. Like they were like, wait, hold on, we're landing near the javelin crater. I got an idea.
Wait, I just happened to bring this javelin along.
So,
All right, Keith, bless us with some of your historical knowledge.
all right. Well, you're in luck. In 1988, our favorite U.S. Vice President, Dan Quayle.
Oh, yeah.
At this point, he was the future U.S. Vice President, and he stated, Bobby Knight told me this. There's nothing that a good defense cannot beat a better offense.
What the fuck does that mean?
In other words, good offense wins. That's what he said.
Okay. You know, you
That
can't do with the thing that you do with the nonsense with the stuff. What?
Yeah. That was like we know like where like Bush Jr. got it from, right? Because this is it. Like Bush Sr.
Right.
Bush Sr. was president, Quayle was vice president, right? And then you know that Bush Sr. was like, I got to go do some world stuff and make sure there's peace and all that. And you know what, Junior? You hang out with Dan, okay? And Dan was like, I'm going to teach you things. It's like,
Wasn't he the one that got a puppy?
he's like, there's nothing that a good defense can't not beat a better offense. You remember that, okay? Okay.
Don't you misunderestimate me.
Right. Here's another good one. You remember this. I want you recite it back to me, okay? Fool me once, shame on you.
Okay, fool me once, shame on you.
Not gonna. I like shoes. And little like Bush Jr. was like, yeah, no, that
You're not
makes a
gonna
lot
fool me
of
again.
sense. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna not the shoe part. That was stupid, but the rest of it was really good. And one day I'm gonna be president. I'm gonna say that into a microphone. Okay, you do that.
He thinks anybody can be president.
I'm gonna
Little-
shoot these bullets into this hurricane.
Right.
Nope, don't do that. Damn,
You
we could have
remember
saved
little
ourselves
Georgie?
8 years of misery.
You remember little Georgie? Anyone can become vice president, and I'm proof of that. And he was
Oh,
like,
wow.
I got you better. I'm gonna be president. Like, oh shit.
Isn't nepotism a bitch?
Yeah. So there you go. Just so you remember, Bobby Knight told me this. There's nothing that a good defense cannot beat a better offense. In other words, a good offense wins. That's the quote. There you go.
Yeah. Thanks, Yogi Bear.
You're welcome. Yep. Nailed it. All right.
Boom.
You got me
It's not
something?
over till the fat lady is over. I don't know.
Right.
In 1989, this just a precursor to this little section that I'm going to do. I'm going to do a series of events here that aren't necessarily in chronological order.
Okay.
With the rest of what we're going to talk about
Sure.
for this week in history.
Yeah.
But they just all go together.
Okay.
It is definitely hurricane season.
It is.
Late in the summer, early fall.
It's getting
and-
worse,
and-
too.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Mother Earth is pissed the fuck off that we're still alive. So
She's working on it.
in 1989, Hurricane Hugo approaches the Leeward Islands on this day.
Yes.
Over the next 12 days, Hugo would kill 75 people from the island of Guadalupe to South Carolina. That is a massive stretch of area. It's ridiculous. Beginning as a thunderstorm that formed off the coast of Africa and fucked everything in its wake after that.
Right.
Category 5 storm.
So you're saying that it started as the rains in Africa.
Well, somebody blessed them, and that was the whole problem.
Right.
It was me. I blessed the rain down in Africa. 10 years later, in 1999, millions flee from Hurricane Floyd.
I remember that one.
Moved across the Atlantic Ocean. Over the next several days, deaths are recorded from the Bahamas
Yep.
all the way to New England due to the powerful storm. So that's one Cat 5 in
Sure.
1989, another Cat 5 in 1999. And I don't know if you guys have read up on much history, but Hurricane Irma fucks Florida.
Oh, when did that happen?
Right, meow.
Oh.
Meow. The strongest recorded storm in the Atlantic Ocean is sticking its dick right into Florida. Yay!
Yeah, I'm surprised Florida
As if
didn't
we
break
didn't
off.
have enough gators loose in Texas, now we got a hurricane in Florida.
I was expecting it all to just the Florida Keys would just become like just coral reefs. And then Florida would break off from the mainland and become one giant Florida Key. And I just
Florida's
thought,
going to get sick of this shit and move.
yeah, I don't, I guess it doesn't happen enough for them to be like, we should move.
Have you seen pictures of like the shore drives in Miami? It looks like fucking Mario Kart.
Does it?
Yeah, it's like all covered in sand.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
people driving on it anyway.
Throwing
Slowing down because you're on the sand.
throwing blue shells at each other
like
and
balloons
stuff.
on the back.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. We had a little bit of a break there from 1999 up until now where there, I guess, weren't any real big storms. Is that what happened then?
Yeah, there was one worth mentioning.
Sandy.
I don't remember.
Yeah. I just used.
Catherine.
Catherine.
Hurricane Catherine. Caitlin? Hurricane Caitlin. That was it.
Caitlin. Yeah.
What a bitch.
Oh, what a horrible name. So what?
Katrina! That's the one I meant.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that didn't make on the list, but
It really wasn't that big of a deal, but whatever.
all right. So here's maybe I don't know if I'd say this is a highlight of history. Maybe a low light. I was really upset about this because I really like the guy. You know, Chevy Chase. Do you remember that comedian?
I love Chevy
Heard of
Chase.
him?
Yeah, heard of him. He has a town named after him in Maryland. I think. I don't know. Maybe he was named after. I don't know.
And a bank.
Yeah, he has a bank that's named after him.
I hope you're not banking on that.
Yikes.
He has. Yeah.
Yeah, that was bad. That was too predictable. I'm sorry.
He was named after a type of car chase, and so he specifically a U.S. brand, and he then in 1993, the ex Saturday Night Live comic made his late night debut on Fox with the Chevy Chase show, which I was like, this is gonna be fucking amazing, and then 6 weeks later it was canceled.
I was 4 years old.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
Fox executives said it was so bad it was embarrassing to watch. And I did watch, I think, an episode, and I can't disagree.
No.
I was really disappointed. Yeah.
Poor Chevy Chase.
Yeah. It was
He was
really
amazing in Hot Tub Time Machine, though.
Yeah. Well,
He
I mean,
found his role as, he found his acting niche as douchebag.
right.
Not like, oh, I'm the goofy, accident-prone vacation guy. No, I'd be like, I'm not going to give you any information, even though I very blatantly know what's going on.
Right. No, but he was he's been he was also in Community. He was very good in Community as well.
Yeah.
So all right.
I got a good one here. In 2004 is the first time that Oprah decided that you get a car.
Oh my
God.
And you get a car. And everybody gets a car. And everybody's crying. Oh my God, you get a car. She gave away a new Pontiac G6 sedan worth $28,500 to every single person in her studio audience.
Right.
That's a total of 276 cars.
Nice.
I'm convinced she's did something awful and she's just wiping her karma, but whatever. All those people were very happy.
Yeah.
They got a brand new G6 that they probably sold immediately.
The thing is that a lot of people don't know this, but that day at the show, parking was a bitch.
Yeah, probably.
Right. Why are all these cars here parked? They're all identical, the same color. Oh, this is stupid.
Yeah.
I might not even go in today. I'm going home. Fuck this.
How did people not know that was coming as they went and parked and they were like, why are there 300 G6s here?
Don't worry about it.
Probably no reason.
Maybe-
Okay.
Oprah said it wasn't a big deal, so
Maybe they all just got like a coupon like you do at the carnival when you win goldfish. They just give you little coupons for it. and
when
it's
you
good
win
for one
sharks in
G6.
Ziploc bags.
What they didn't, yeah, probably what didn't come out is that it wasn't actually a free car. It was a buy one, get one free car. And
There we go.
right now I have two fucking G6s. What am I going to do with that?
Shit.
It's a G
Can't
dozen.
drive them at the same time.
Yeah, one for each foot. And so,
Maybe they're cheaper by the dozen.
how many times has she done that since? Do we know? Do we have any idea?
I
Good
have
research.
No idea.
All right, awesome. Thank you for your
Hey,
help.
I'm pulling these off the top of my head. I didn't
It's
actually
true.
do any research.
Like he's like, I wish she had done other things. Like you're like, you get a car, you get a car. Later, it'd be like, you get an orphan, and you get an orphan, and
You get a popsicle, and you get an orphan.
Give somebody a house.
Right, you get a house,
that's
and you get to
stupid.
stay in that person's house, and you get to stay in that person's house. Everybody's staying in that house.
Bring your G6.
Well, all right, absolutely, Victor.
Yeah.
Of all these events, which do you think is the most historically relevant?
You know what? It's a pretty obvious choice for me, frankly. In the year 1999,
Yeah.
I was in Hilton Head, South Carolina.
Okay.
That's a bad idea.
And there was a motherfucking hurricane hitting the coast. And it was our last day of vacation, and all my cousins were bored because we were sitting inside the condo. And so my family said, hey, go outside,
Into the hurricane.
go into the fucking hurricane.
and shoot this gun.
to the,
Shoot this guy.
to the visitor center and get us a board game. And I was like, real quick, there's a hurricane outside. And they're like, you grew up on a tropical island. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
I was getting like hit in the face with palm fronds and shit. And then like, as I was down there, like I called them from the visitor center, was like, I think I'm going to die if I come back. And they're like, great, could you get us a pizza on the way back?
You're like, I didn't get
See-
the board game or the pizza, but I have this shark.
Yeah. So
That's
Hurricane
the
Floyd.
thing, though. You've got Florida, which whenever a hurricane rolls through, it just steamrolls the place, and then it rolls over the tropical islands. All their houses are made of concrete with these metal slats that close, and they're up on stilts, and they're all just like, I'm bored. That is how they get through hurricanes. Boredom.
I can't go out
We don't
today.
have power, but whatever.
Hurricane. This is the bitch.
So, suck on that, Keith. Hurricane Floyd.
I actually drove through Hurricane Floyd. We had a show down in Richmond at a Borders Books, and I had the big tour van and was running a little late and was like speeding through a hurricane down to Richmond, which basically was I was just taking my life in my own hands because I was young and thought I would live forever, and so far so good. But that's not the point. You shouldn't speed through a hurricane.
Right, you
shoot
should
at
obey
it.
the speed limit.
Yes. You definitely should not speed through a hurricane with a gun out the window shooting at it.
And don't blow it.
Yeah. Don't blow it. That's definitely true.
Its dick is way too big for that.
Way
Don't
too big.
point a fan at it. All right. So there you go. You have found the most historically important thing, guest of the show and not related to the show at all, Victor. And that is a hurricane named Floyd. Which is also I named a bird after that. We had a African gray parrot. They're super smart, and we got it around that time, and then we named it Floyd, and then it was like an escape artist, right? Because it really wanted attention, but it was fucking annoying because it would like go onto your shoulder, which was cool because then you're like a pirate. But it would like start like eating your hair and like shitting on you. And you're like, don't fucking do that. Just sit there like a parrot. You're supposed to why don't you just say pirate things while you're there instead of trying to like make a nest out of my hair? And it would like try to climb on your ear and you're like, fucking just stop. Okay, you know what? You're going in your cage. And it was like, for now. And it would, and it found like 8 different ways out of the cage. At one point, like, it was it had figured out how to like open the door, and so we had to like tie the door down because it like would grab the outside peg and push it up. And then like it figured out that the dishes where we put food and water, they swung out, so it would like get over and unlock those and push the dishes out, and then like
Fucking
crawl
Floyd.
crawl through the hole, and then finally we like clamped that down and all these things, and it figured out that on the bottom of the cage there was a tray where all the poop and stuff went. You put like newspaper down. You could pull the tray out, take the newspaper out, put newspaper down. It would go down to the bottom of the goddamn cage. It would lay on its back and it put its claws underneath the wall and then push itself with the tray out and like fall on the ground and be like, I'm out, bitches.
Oh my gosh.
And then it would, because it had clipped wings, so it would like waddle over to you with this saunter, like, you're never going to keep me in. Right? And climb
That is a
up.
category 5 bird right there.
And it would climb up your leg and climb up the side of you and then sit on your shoulder. And you're like, awesome. It's going to finally be a pirate parrot. And it would go, and just shit on me again. And we named it Floyd. So, so speaking of interesting facts about myself. Is there anything you'd like to share with the audience, Victor?
Guest Victor or
Yeah,
absolutely Victor?
Guest Victor.
Actually, I'd like to pull back the curtain finally, Keith.
What?
If that's all right with
I
you.
can't hear you. We're doing a
That's oddly appropriate.
We're doing a segment called Near and Far.
Since I'm so far away, as we said at the very beginning of the show, but I'm so near to your heart.
Yeah, so
Microphone drop.
If you start singing that Titanic song, I'm fucking done.
A whole new world.
that's not it.
Nope.
That's the wrong.
Hey, it's okay. You're
No,
welcome.
That's not it either.
for the wonderful world.
Have
No,
you
that's not
even
it.
seen Titanic? I don't even know. Do you remember which movie that is? Didn't have a genie. I'll tell you
Has
that.
race
I wanna
cars.
fall asleep because I miss you, baby.
No, that's not
And
it.
I don't want to miss. All right,
Yeah,
I'll shut
there's,
up now.
there's an asteroid.
Yeah, there's let me just see if this rings a bell for you. Highway to the danger zone.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun.
I hate you
I'm
both.
king of the world. Dun, 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 dun.
Here I am. Rock you like a scorpion.
That's not it.
That's not how it
No,
goes.
That's not even close. So
But anyway,
let's start with far. Can you tell us a little something that's maybe further than it usually is?
that would be farther, Keith, because this is literal,
What?
not figurative distance.
Perhaps.
Whatever, perhaps. Ladies and gentlemen, your favorite co-host of Another Wasted Hour.
Absolutely
which is my
Victor is
podcast.
right here in
Absolutely,
studio.
Victor. No, as I mentioned earlier in the year, I'm gonna have a baby. Not me physically, but I will partake
You
in a
would
child-making
be
process.
such an ugly pregnant woman.
I would glow. You shut up.
Oh, you would retain so much water.
But anyway, I live very far from where we record, so instead of driving an hour to record for an hour,
Yes.
drive all the way back and leave an 8-month pregnant woman by herself.
Yes.
For 3 to 4 hours, we found a way for me to remote record. So I've got Keith and Absolutely Victor on Skype right now. I'm recording my own track at home with this shiny microphone. And so until that kid is born, I'm probably not going to be anywhere close to you. Congratulations. We don't live together anymore, Keith.
That's awesome because I hate you. So,
Here's my
Do
thing.
you, though? Do you?
yes.
She is growing a human being from scratch, and
Yeah.
you think she can't live without you for 4 hours once a week?
But see, here's the thing.
Yeah.
She could absolutely survive.
Yeah.
You know, she's an adult woman.
The rest of her life.
She could make it 4 hours without me.
Mhm.
However, consider that she's got this big honking belly that's pushing on her ribs.
Don't you dare
and
say that. She's beautiful.
She is beautiful and has a beautiful belly, and she's never going to listen to this. So it's there's a baby in there.
Yeah.
That she is growing from scratch without your fucking assistance.
Right, but if she falls, or if she anytime after 7 months that baby could be like, now she goes into labor or something, and I'm an hour away in the middle of recording with my phone off, it's probably a bad idea. So I want to be like close by in case anything happens.
How long do you think labor takes?
Probably, I don't know. It's I haven't really looked into it much, but like
You haven't Googled
like 20
that?
minutes, like 20 to 25 minutes.
Right. It comes out so fast you could shoot it at a hurricane.
It's basically like the
would
length
fly
of the movie
back at
Titanic.
you.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's fair. So that is all the time we have for today. As you have heard, Victor is going to be remote for a few months as he is growing a child, or, well, his lovely biscuit oven is growing a child. We will have other people in studio to take his place, but he will be with us the entire time. This week, Friday, September 22nd, surprise attack at Hometown Get Down in Clarksburg, Maryland. Saturday, September 23rd, Mary Jo Maeda at Lost and Found in Washington, D.C. Yellow Tie Guy at the Lighthouse Dock Bar in Solomon, Maryland. Please like our posts, follow us, retweet us, share us, and the show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We cannot do this without you. Do not forget to review us on Facebook, iTunes, and Google Play. Thanks to Kevin Evinger, McNally22, Justin Rogers, Big Metal Records, Alchemical Records, Engineer Adam for all their contributions, and for Victor being far but still sticking around. Thanks to absolutely Victor, and most of all, thanks to Victor for wasting a perfectly good hour with us. This has been another wasted hour, and if you just realized that, don't blame us. We warned you.
Say Victor one more time.